Well, a very good evening again to all of you wondrous, wonderful people to this little corner of the information superhighway of Weird Mind Newsroom episode 106, where this week is a bit more of a quiet, subtle tone form, but we have a bit here and there in terms of content provided. There's a selection of new releases, a trailer or two, and an odd news story as well in there as well too. But let's not delve too much in the focus of just teasing it out, and let's get talking to all things media that came out for this week.
There's a little game and it's called Elden Ring. It's got a world and a story that is making me sing.
So we just have a selection of two new releases for this week, and the first is in the focus of honing your skills, sharpening your senses, and learning the ways of the art of fighting. And when it seems that sometimes the old ways may not be enough, or one may be too weak to control, we'll bring the focus of masters of past and present to combine together in order for them to create something new and hone their skills in this new era for the future. As the fighters of the past come together to train the future, the arts of karate, as we have the all-new entry in the popular Karate Kid series with Karate Kid Legends. The film will follow Kung Fu prodigy Lee Fong, who after moving to New York with his mother struggles to try and fit in with his classmates. When a new friend needs help, Lee enters a karate competition, but his skills alone aren't enough. But when he gets to date both Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso, he soon learns to merge two styles into one for the ultimate martial arts showdown. Now, reception on this new entry of the franchise has been hit with a fair bit of mixed reception. Though while praise for some of the story and character dynamics are present in this project, the film is lacking in cohesive focus with pacing and lack of fighting action, and the focus of the tentpole actors of Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio are kind of lacking, and they don't really have much for present until about halfway through the movie. Though some may see the appeal of the project overall, but if you want to see for the film for yourself, you can catch this new film out now in cinemas. And the second new release for this week is taking us back to the vast dangerous lands, the realm of the lost and damned, roamed by those they call the tarnished. But in this instance, a new threat and a plague has swept the land, and in this instance, you'll not be taking this all alone. But From Software is returning to their acclaimed title of the series in the important approach of getting good, but doing it as a team this time, as the release of the new entry of Elden Ring Night Rain. The game is set as a prequel and in a separate timeline to the original title, with the title set in a new altered land known as Limveld, where you'll take on the role of the Nightfarers as you head on a quest with two others in order to gather resources and grow stronger by the day, and then take on fierce creatures and bosses at night over the course of a few days in order for you to have what it takes to defeat the Night King and restore the lands to peace. Reception on the title seems to be decently received, with praise to the visuals and concept gameplay, though some of the functions like the co-op aspects and lack of other appealing features has brought a lot of mixed appeal and opinion to the fandom, and it could get a chance of finding appeal in due time, but I'm sure we will know more about this and we'll probably develop over time in that regards. But if you want to play it for yourself, then you and a few friends can play this new title now on PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, the Series X and S, and PC. But with all of that, that's all the new releases that we do have for this week.
Ho, 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 it's magic.
So the first of the trailers for this week is bringing us to the realm of the deep far reaches of space for a new cosmic adventure that when the universe called out to find life in the universe, they picked up the call. Maybe a bit of an odd choice, but it is what they wanted. As we have a new and final look at the new original film from one of my all-time favorite animation studios, or studios in general, as we've received the trailer for Pixar's new title of Elio. The film will follow the titular character, an 11-year-old with an obsession with aliens and a very active imagination. So when he is beamed up to the Communiverse, an interplanetary organization with representatives from galaxies far and wide, Elio's in for an epic undertaking when he's mistaken as the leader ambassador of Earth. He must form new bonds with eccentric alien life forms and also navigate a crisis of intergalactic proportions, and maybe even find a new intergalactic friend along the way. Now I know there is a case that some see the likes of Pixar has lost their appeal over time with their projects, and likes of some of the likes of Pixar's lost their appeal over time, from likes of seeing the heavy amount of sequels in the last decade, to many seeing as lose the appeal of original concepts compared to their classics of the early days, but I still see so much appeal with their original and even their sequels that I find more of an appeal and entertaining factor from this studio compared to some of the projects from the big studio of Disney that controls them. I still feel this will have its appeal with it from its heart, its humor, and its emotions, and I think from so far it looks visually amazing like all other Pixar movies. It has the appeal of heart, and hopefully the humor will be in there as well. I know people will give this some love to more original titles as well in there too, and I'm looking forward to checking this one out in due time. And it's not too long away as well, as the film will be beaming up into cinemas in about 3 weeks time on June 20th. As for the second trailer for this week, there will be a fair few from this week for one streaming service due to a certain event that took place this weekend. But the first one came before the event and shows that even when there is a grisly murder that may occur, there's always a way to solve a case, no matter how old the ones trying to solve it are. As we have received the first teaser trailer for the upcoming series based on the popular recent mystery novel series, with a trailer for the First Day Murder Club. Based on the first novel in the franchise, the film will follow a group of amateur septuagenarian sleuths who love to tackle and solve cold cases in their comfy retirement home that consists of a former spy, a former nurse, a former trade union official, and a former psychiatrist. But when an actual murder takes place in their local area and on their doorstep, they will soon step up to the challenge and take on the case before the killer strikes again. So the case, I've read some of this novel and I will finish it, but I love the concept idea of a group of elderly people in a retirement home band together as a group of murder mystery lovers who end up having to deal with some proper cases themselves. And knowing the big name talent in front and behind the camera, with the director being Chris Columbus and producer Steven Spielberg, as well as cases like Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren, David Tennant, Ben Kingsley, and a few other big name titles in that regards as well, it does sound like a really entertaining title. And I think just from this small glimpse shown so far, I'm very interested and excited, and hopefully will be an entertaining and respectful adaptation as well, and hopefully get a theatrical release in this regards in particular as well. But we don't have to wait too long for this either, as the first mystery will be heading into Netflix from the 28th of August. Now, on the basis with the Totem event from Netflix, there's going to be two I'm not going to really talk on, but I'll talk about in the news section. But our first one we will give a focus on, is one that's possibly the big release to come from the end of this year, as is the creation of a man-made monster, and the man that will have him travel down a twisted path for the purpose of playing God. And with the focus of this film's creator of the master creature features, it's a match made in heaven. As after a bit of time and anticipation, we have finally received the first trailer for Guillermo del Toro's take on the classic monster film of Frankenstein. The film will be set in Eastern Europe in the late 19th century and follow Dr. Pretorius, who will be on the mission to track down Frankenstein's monster, who is believed to have died in a fire over 40 years ago in order to continue and honor the experiments that were created by the former Dr. Frankenstein himself, who basically went down the path of God in the name of science. If there was anything that Del Toro knows to do, it is really give a strong and appealing vibe, and just most of the projects in the air of the creature features, original or in the classics, it's always something to check out, and this one does look really great. I was kind of interested in seeing it turn out, but honestly, after this trailer that dropped earlier, I'm hooked, and I think honestly I'm excited to check this out. Now, there's no official release date as of yet, but we will see this come back to life when it hits onto Netflix screens sometime this November. Now, for the only other film trailer from Totem I can give a focus on for this week is one seeing us heading back out in the fairways, getting a bit of the lays of the land, and for one specific individual that when the aggression or the stress gets to them, all they need to do is go back to their happy place. As it seems Happy is back after all, this time we've received a new trailer for the upcoming sequel to the popular 90s comedy of Happy Gilmore. Now, the film will see Gilmore make a return to the sport that he first stumbled into over 30 years ago and looking to get back out onto the course to help pay for his daughter's ballet lessons. But things will not be as simple, as he will soon be dealing with his own anxieties, and all new professional golfers, and the return of his old rival of Shooter McGavin. So I do like the original a fair bit of the classic appeal of being one of Sandler's best classic comedies of the 90s, and the new one in focus does not seem to be too bad from what I can see, and it seems to have the appeal, a bit of the comedy, and some entertainment value to it all. And while the comedy is a little too much in the similar tropes to the original and kind of a hit or miss, I do hope we will see it bring some appeal and be a very entertaining piece as well, and hope it turns out good. And it's not too long away either, as the film will be teeing off into Netflix 25th of July. Our last of the trailers that I will give in focus from Totem is a return to the games of the past that have a whole lot more of a violent twist to it all. A deep conspiracy and people on the inside and out looking to take it all down before any more bloodshed is spilled, all for the purpose of massive cash prizes. As is the case with any game, they all come to an end eventually, as we received a new trailer for the upcoming third and final season of Squid Game. In this season, we will see the continuing fight led by Seung Ji-hong, and the players face off against even more deadlier games, which will have some more dire consequences than the last. While an In-ho welcomes the VIPs back to the island for the final events, while his brother of Jun-ho continues to search for the hidden island, while unaware of a traitor amongst his team. It's to say that when they have an established series done well and not milking it to death with so many countless seasons, looking at you, Big Mouth, and going way too over doing it with its appeal and a lot of times can be a mess, but I can tell from this one that it does look like the stakes and appeal of the series are about to really take off and really build all together, just being a nice conclusion. And with Sony serious games in focus, and after ending the last season a very bloody cliffhanger, this season is going to be quite the appealing thing to see what the last 3 games entail, and I hope that some of the characters we have grown attached to from the last season will make it out alive, and I'm excited to see how this will all come to an end. And it's not too far along way as well, as the final season will be releasing on Netflix in just under a month's time from the 27th of June. And for the final trailer I can give a focus on for this week is heading over to another popular streamer, and for the basis of seeing an all new semester for some gifted individuals. But with this sudden and drastic change of the series that started and spawned this series just occurring over a year ago, it will be a lot to witness and see what will come from this new semester under a new reigning rule of Soups, as we receive the first trailer for the second season of the spin-off To the Boys of Gen V. Now the second season of the series will follow on from the events of season 4 of The Boys, with the US now under the rule of Homelander's reign and Iron Fist, and we'll see Marie and the rest of the inmates return to the school of Guldalkin after the effects of the attack on the school of the first season, with a new dean having taken over, looking to turn Soups into proper soldiers. Soon, with the threat of an all-out war on the brink of breaking out between humans and Soups, the team will soon discover a program that will possibly change everything, that goes back to the origins of the Gundalkin, and it seems Marie may have a ploy in all of this. Now, it's a case since I remember watching the full series of The Boys and Gen V last year, leading up to release season 4, and I enjoyed the spin-off a fair bit with the focus on the younger upcoming heroes learning to hone their powers and become part of something greater in the world of heroes getting their powers by, is it Gen V, kind of the super serum they were giving to kids, and I'm interested and wondered how this will explain 2 things really. One, the passing of one of the actors who died before the second season of a tragic motorcycle accident, and the other is how the effects of the last season of the main series will affect this one. And I'm interested to see this more dark twist that will near lean too close to reality, minus the heroes and costumes, and then help lead into the 5th and final season of the main series. But I decided to check this out, and thankfully, we have a release date for this one as well, as we're releasing on the Prime Video in about 3 months' time on September 17th. And with all of that now, that's all the trailers that we do have for this week.
This boy is not correct.
So we will start the first story off this week in the announcement of some casting news. And this one was a long time wait and expecting response for something that I have had many times have said in the last little while. This is something that is completely unnecessary to be made. And as of course with the new casting for the upcoming HBO TV series adaptation of the Harry Potter franchise. Now, we have already talked on the franchise way back I think on the 100 episode. And I talked on the confirmed casting of some of the professors, which was of course Professor Dumbledore, McGonagall, Professor Quirrell, Professor Snape, Argus Filch, and Rubius Hagrid. That was the 6 we got confirmed. And the case instance where I also talked about going about, my opinions on the vile offer for Twisted Ways. It seemed quite quiet for a little bit more at the time, but that all changed this week, as after initially having the huge casting call at the end of last year and over 32,000 applicants who made the call to have the chance, we were finally announced and unveiled on Tuesday this week. They announced the confirmed young actors that will be playing Harry, Ron, and Hermione in the series. Now confirmed that Scottish actor Dominic McLaughlin will portray Harry, young British actress and theatre star Arabella Stanton will portray Hermione, and British actor Alistair Stout will be portraying Ron Weasley. Now I think they all have been greatly chosen and give such a vibe and appeal the look and tone of the characters of the books and looks of the original trio from all those years ago when they first started out. I do hope the one thing I will say is that I hope they will be protected from the sudden new fame they will experience, as well for some online disdain, which has already been seen towards the young actress playing Miss Granger, as it comes down to complaints of her having slightly fair or darker skin, and many valid comments have already appeared on some of these posts announcing this, which is really not on. Come on guys, don't be dicks. Now, I do see that she has had some previous acting experience, as she's not the only magically gifted kid that she's been portrayed already so far, as she's also been the lead in the West End version of the Matilda musical as the main lead of Matilda Wormwood, and has proven she was clearly right for the role, and I will see how well she will turn out, and hopefully we'll see success over time for them. Now again, is to say I still see this series as completely unnecessary and, could have focused on some other expansive part of the the universe, like, you know, the young marauders, the creators of the school kind of things. Some people said even like a sort of a grim detective style series of Mad Eye Moody kind of thing, but you know, in some regards it happens, and you know, it's every case. But there'll also be a bit of a dent because of the woman that created the series and her very valid opinions on some people. And in case I've emphasized before in other series, well, especially the Hogwarts Legacy one, trans people are people. And yeah, this woman is a bitch. Like, you know, her opinions about this stuff about, you know, transgender people and asexual people are really disgusting. And it's a case since now she's apparently using the money to set up some organization or charity that will go against these people is so sickening. And I wonder if there's a way we can set up our own organization as the method to tell her to go f herself, protect trans kids, and take their rights and license away from her in the process so that it's all out of her evil hands and it can be liked again. But I guess it's just, you know, food for thought and just, you know, too good to be true. But you know, sorry with the rant and kind of again a bit negative there. I don't plan to be negative all the time, so I apologize on that guy. Now in the process as well, it remains to be seen if we would get any casting other kids. In many cases, like, you know, like Neville Longbottom, Draco Malfoy, Crabbe and Goyle, the other Weasleys, and also, but I'm sure we'll probably see over time these casting of these other kids of folks in the series, but we will see in due time and when they start filming shortly, I believe sometime this summer, but we'll see. But in all regards, I want to know what you think of these 3 new casting additions, and do you see them as being solid choices for the main 3 roles, and do you think like getting other child actors out there that could be good fits for any of the upcoming actors, and who else would you cast for the series? Let me know what your thoughts are down below and we can talk about them there. Now for the second story for this week is with a focus of a small selection of release date announcements coming to us from some upcoming mixed media, including a film, some shows, and a game as well, and we'll give a quick delving into what they are when we expect to check those out too. So the first we will talk on is with a return of a series that was popular many years ago and is joining a cavalcade of animated classics getting the reboot revival treatment, and this next one comes to us in the form of a new revival of the popular series of King of the Hill. As along with the unveiling of a new updated opening credits for this new season, it also comes with the announcement that this upcoming season has a release date now of the 4th of August for Disney Plus and Hulu. Now I've not seen a lot of the show, but I've seen a fair bits and pieces now and again. I know that some bits are, you know, appealing, and I'm sure I'll give it a look into in due time, but I'm sure it will be interesting to see how they will, you know, implement some more modern stuff as they've shown off on the poster into this as well as a now adult Bobby, and wonder if this boy is now right. But I'm sure we'll see how this all comes about when the new season releases in about 2 months time on the 4th of August. So next we head to the console area, and while we wait for the release of the next new console from Nintendo in a few days, with my pre-order now officially been purchased today and has been dispatched as we speak, we do have a release date for one of the upcoming titles, and we'll be having you catching them all real soon. As was announced earlier this week that we now have a release date for the upcoming new Pokemon Legends game of Z/A, and is now taking a release on October 16th of this year. Now this will be releasing on both Switch 1 and 2 with different visuals and features for both, and if you own the Switch 1 edition and upgrade to the Switch 2, I'm sure it'll be not to be too pricey. It's probably about 10 quid, but also given the announcement from this week, if you have the Switch Online expansion pass option, the upgrade will probably be available at no extra cost, going of how the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom ones are also going to be that focused as well. But I'm sure it'll be an appeal to play this new title, and going off a friend of mine, and I got them the Arceus game last week because they were looking to, just appeal back to their into their Pokemon phase again. I'm sure in case they may appeal to return to this one in the future, but we shall see in due time, and yeah, look forward to this game on the 16th of October. Now, this next one, I could have added into the trailers for Tudum, but the reason I didn't for this one was because the trailer itself barely had much of the footage for the upcoming final season, and consisted mostly of footage from the previous ones itself, but I felt I will at least discuss the show here, as amongst all the announcements of the Netflix event, we did also get the release date scheduled for the upcoming 5th and final season of the popular series of Stranger Things, which will now be split into a 3-part release, which in all instance regards here, I'm starting to get a bit tedious with all these seasons being split up into multiple parts on the streamer, because it's a bit tedious in that regards. Just do a weekly release then, it makes more sense. But in that regards, it's announced that Volume 1 of the season will drop on November 26th, which is Thanksgiving. Volume 2 will be releasing on, I believe, I'm guessing Christmas Day, and then the series finale of the entire show will be dropping on New Year's Eve, making a return to the Upside Down be a conclusion of the end of the year, and leading to a hopeful future of Right Side Up in the following year the next day. Now, I do hope that the appeal of some hope that the season is not too overblown, there's not going to be any more characters being introduced, and some actually might get killed off, and we get some decent character development that has been missing for a fair few seasons now with some of them, and that end up as a mess, but I'm sure we can discuss in this season in due time and in the trailer section as well, once they have something to show off for the final season, but we'll see in due time in that regards. And the last one I do say so is coming to us from Tudum as well, and the reason for not being in the trailers is because of the rule of my length about trailers itself. That was a kind of short one, but after wondering and speculating when I would hear the return of that southern twang, we finally got the answer, as was announced the official release date for the third film in the Knives Out series of Wake Up Dead Man will be having its release this Christmas, as well as a release date confirmed for December 12th, as well as confirmation of the names of the characters and actors in focus for this movie. Now, I have been very excited for this, and I love the original. I recently rewatched Glass Onion not too long ago, and I will still say these movies are top tier cracker ones. As well as the case new Poker Face season is pretty good. And I'm all set for another mystery that's set to be a lot more darker than the past. I'm for an all mystery this Christmas. Now, I do hope for one thing, and that we will get to see this get a theatrical release as well, like the previous two films, but it does before it drops in the streamer, but I'm sure we will see in due time if they will go along with it. Hopefully they do, along with Frankenstein and even Thursday Murder Club and Happy Gilmore 2, but all we can do is wait and see and hopefully speculate, and hopefully pray that it does. But what do you think of these release date announcements, and are you excited for any of them in particular? Let me know your opinions down below and we can talk about them in the comments. Now, the last story is going to consist of a selection of stories that will first focus on all the rumors of some confirmed news with the realm of superheroes, and the last bit of the story may not be superhero related, but is related to the form of the creator and star of this project were part of the superhero affair not too long ago. We'll get to them in due time, so let's just delve into what was discussed this week, rumor-wise. So we'll start with the focus of the one that has the most to talk about, and we've confirmed the release date and also has a massive focus, and the next after the upcoming First Family, and that is with everyone's favourite friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man. Now, after the release of Fantastic Four next month, it will now be a year gap before we will see the next film outing from the MCU, because initially it was supposed to be Doomsday, but that was also delayed last week to Christmas of next year, so it's now going to be Spider-Man taking the reins first. On the basis of this upcoming fourth Spidey film, there's a lot of conflicting rumors floating around of what we can expect. Now I'll try and go through all of them as I can in quick succession. So first off, like the previous films, it's not going to be just Spidey teaming up on his own, as there has been a case that he will be crossing paths with another hero, where the first film was Iron Man, second was Nick Fury, third one was Doctor Strange, and this fourth one is now supposedly he's teaming up with the big man himself of the Hulk. Now, according to some rumored sources, it seems to be the case the Hulk or Banner may still know about Peter's identity, like in the comics when everyone forgot his identity, and also the case that it may be a Spidey versus Hulk movie, which will lead into a possible big event film for the giant green anger machine himself, which has been also discussed about a rumored new Hulk film that will have him and She-Hulk appear in that, and be seen as kind of a collectively story that leads into a World War Hulk storyline. It's been rumored so far, but we don't know confirmed yet. Now, it's a case it may be an instance of him returning more to the aggressive side by the manipulation of the villains from his Smart Hulk era, and some of these villains rumored to appear are kind of rumor ones right now, but are stemming between 4 or 6 that have been discussed, and those are Scorpion, which was teased all the way back in Homecoming's mid-credit scene, Boomerang, Arachnid, Mr. Negative, an unknown female villain that is apparently rumored to be eyeing Nicole Kidman for the role, and the last one is rumored to tie into the Hulk appearing, which is the character of the Green Goliath. But the basis of all these rumored villains and hero team-ups is anyone's guess, as was another element of Peter teaming up with the Punisher supposedly to take down the Hulk too, but apparently that was like an early script draft, so I have no idea. Now, like I guess of these villains tied to the name of the film as Brand New Day, it seems a bit of a controversial storyline, and if some of the villains have been teased from being introduced in that comic line and teased for a bit of time as well, and I can see the appeal of some working. Now, as I mentioned, these are all just rumors for now, so I take any of these with a big old grain of salt, but once I hear anything about this project, I'll update in a later episode. Now, the second piece of the superhero or superhero adjacent news is with the next story initially planned as an interactive piece, but with a recent shakeup, it is looking unlikely now to happen, as it was announced that the planned Black Panther game that was being made by the studio that was a subset of the big company of EA has been cancelled, and the studio that was making it has been shut down from the recent layoffs from the company. Now, this of course is not the only game to get the shelving from the studio as a reason, as it was also the case that another studio saw some closure and layoffs that led to the cancellation of a new game in the Titanfall series that was in the works as well. It's a shame that it seems like nearly every original solo game from the studio gets the short end of the stick, yet it seems like the copy-paste sports titles, FIFA, NFL, of Madden and wrestling or whatever ones they own, seem to basically be fine to survive in the case because they just print money and it's the same carbon copy game all the time. I could be wrong, I don't play the sports games, so just don't blame me in that regards if I get it wrong there. It's just, that's what I feel all the time with these ones. But when they release content that's original and a sports style, it does appeal. Like example, one of the best games of this year, from a lot of people say, is Split Fiction, which is already apparently getting a film adaptation, and this one's being one of the confirmed stars supposedly for it already is Sydney Sweeney. Now they've said it's not the last of the Marvel collaborations, as they've specified that there are still 3 Marvel games they are working on, with the first one they're focused on being on the way is a game focused on Iron Man. But I do hope there's a chance that this one could be revived and released, because the concept for a game with this character would be really appealing. But for now, we will all see how this goes, and if any changes occur, I will offer in later installments down the line in this series. But speaking of connections to Black Panther, now in the base of this last story does not relate to the superheroes in regards, but does have a focus on some of the cast appearing in the properties of Marvel, and the director and main star have worked together on one of those most beloved in the MCU, and this has to do with the discussion of one of this year's best films, and that's of course with Ryan Coogler's film of Sinners. Now it has been seen that this has been one of the year's best success stories, with an original opening weekend best since 2018's Us from Jordan Peele, an unheard of 6% box office drop in the second weekend, and one of the most profitable movies of the year, and one of the best reviewed as well. As being a one-off original is something you'll love to see, or so it is rumored to be good to be true. Now, the last few days is something that's been a bit all over case of this sense of discourse. The possible sequel to this movie is in the works, and the studio of Warner Bros. Is looking to make one with or without its lead stars, or from Coogler himself. And I think them doing that already spells disaster. And personally, it does not need to have a sequel or spin-off of any kind, and keeping it as a one-off original film is more than enough. As Coogler has specified, it's basically an entire 5-course meal. You know, your starter, your main course, your entree, your dessert, your drinks, you got all this stuff in there. It's like a beautiful course. Sure, there's probably a case of doing a prequel of the brothers of Smoke and Stack, of their time fighting in the trenches of World War I, or their time in Chicago working for the mob, or even a focus on the main villain of Remick and his past, and a bit of the kind of Irish roots could be told. But in all sense, I think just leave it as it is. Now, it seems to be the case that W has now shot down the reports of a follow-up, as does Coogler, who in a unique and rare deal has control for any sequel spin-offs and the original itself, so likely comes down to his control, and hopefully it stays as a single entry. But like I've said with the other parts of the story, once I hear anything, I'll update a later story. And also, case review for this movie will be coming soon, so look forward to that in regards. But what do you think of these rumors and announcements? And who do you see being in the big bad for the next Spider-Man film? And will Hulk appear as a character? Are you disappointed in the Black Panther game being cancelled? And do you see it make a return? And do you want a sequel to Sinners, or leave it as a one and done? Let me know your thinking all down below in the comments. And with all of that, that's all the news stories that we do have for this year. And now, with all of that, it ends episode 106 of my Weird Mind Newsroom, and I do hope you enjoyed listening to my ramblings for probably about 20 minutes at this point. Before I delve into the new concepts, as a recording, this is exactly 2 years since I uploaded my very first video on this channel, and I'd like to thank you all for joining me on this journey. To think that 2 years ago I was just, a simple, shy, overly big old bag of anxiety, simple person trying to start my career on this and thinking it would turn into something. But here we are now, 2 years later, still full of anxiety, emotionally all over the place, well deep into 400 subs and 200 plus videos. And it's boggled me that people actually, watch my content and actually like this stuff. So I want to thank you from bottom of my heart personally for just being there from people have been there from day one, people that are new here, and people that may have disappeared for a bit have come back. They're always welcome. So I want to thank you all for just being there with me, and I appreciate every single one of you. So thank you. But with all that out of the way now, I'm going to delve into quick fire updates about what to expect on this channel. So reviews wise, Last of Us Season 1's review is coming. I'm going to finish it up now in the next few days, so look for that. I'll probably do Season 2 from their regards. Quick fire opinion, Season 2, I think it's alright. I don't think it's as good as I don't think it's as masterful as the first season, but it's still entertaining. There's some good bits. There's some issues, but hopefully I'd say season 3 might help, make it great overall. But we'll see when season 3 comes out for that. I do have the first of my new short based reviews, which is going to be called Sam's Snack Size Box Office Reviews. But the first one going to be on Fall Guy. I'm just gonna do a little quick edit on it kind of thing. The review is going to be between 1 to 3 minutes. for YouTube short length, as well as for my socials and for my TikTok kind of thing. So there'll be coming in that regards. So look forward to them. And in case I'm going to do a few more that I have listed out, I'm going to spin the wheel and see what the next one is in a few minutes. But those will be coming along as well. So look forward to those. And if you want to basically give your opinions on some reviews I might do in the future, let me know below now. Honestly, get your written reviews or opinions on stuff like that in front of me. So do that regards. But more reviews will be coming, so look for them. Gameplay wise as well, I'm gonna get some gameplays and some bits and pieces. I might see, because I have the Switch 2 coming in next week, so I might try and record some Mario Kart World when it comes out. We'll see. We'll see how it comes along. But I will do some more like Mario Wonder. I'm gonna do Cyberpunk 2077. I'm gonna do some Star Wars Outlaws. I'm gonna do to Ventilate on the PC. I'm gonna do Outlast DLC. I'm gonna do all this sort of stuff. So they'll be coming as well. So look forward to those regards. And in the case of long form stuff as well, the Mario Time Lapse one is in development right now. I'm just gonna like cutting through some bits at the moment. I've been kind of busy and focused on regards. So I'm gonna probably edit this video first, and then I'm gonna get back to editing more of the time lapse one. Hopefully, it's like I say it's about 6 hours worth of content, and I'm trying to cut down to like, I don't know, about 20-30 minutes, like of the time lapse one. I'm gonna make it sure that like, at least the time lapse looks decent, but we'll see. And then other stuff like the rewatchathon, the AI audience choice videos, still probably make other long form stuff like Harmless Born and everything that they'll be coming as well. So look forward to those. They'll be coming. So please. Thank you for your patience and stuff that they'll be coming eventually. Just fun the time. But I think with that regards, I'm gonna leave it there for now. So if you enjoy my content and want to see more from me more frequently, then simply like and subscribe. I upload new stuff every single week, and I'm looking to case instance probably maybe say by the end of this month to reach 500 subs, and then by the end of this year to reach 1,000 subs. We're about 444 than when I last time recorded here, but I appreciate every single one of you for following along here, and hopefully we will reach those goals, and I will appreciate every single one for being part there and just checking my stuff in the journey. Let me know your thoughts on everything that was discussed this week as well down below, like your thoughts on the releases, your thoughts on the trailers and the news stories as well. And with all of that now, I shall leave in that regards. So as always, you all stay being wonderful people, have a great day every day, doing many great things, and they're keeping you because no one else can do what you do. I've been your host, Sam, and I shall see you all in the next episode. So take care, and I shall see you later.